Hello and welcome to the Man Games. This is the podcast show on the channel. It is the Man
and the Wife
podcast. Today we're going to be looking at Wrestlemania 28. Now you might think it's a bit strange looking at a Wrestlemania in the summertime. Normally you'd be looking at SummerSlam pay-per-views, but this is actually the first Wrestlemania we watched live together as a couple, so we thought that's one we talk about today. So this WrestleMania was on April 1st, 2012 from Miami Gardens in Florida, the Sun Life Stadium. The attendance was 78,000 and the buy rate was the most a WrestleMania ever had at 1,217,000. The one previous was WrestleMania 23 and that was just 1.2. Obviously, the attraction for WrestleMania 23 was Donald Trump and Vince McMahon's hair shaving match, which saw Bobby Lashley against Umaga, and Stone Cold was the referee. That was more of the draw that year. But we are here to talk about WrestleMania 28 today. So, first match on the card was Daniel Bryan and Sheamus.
Yes, so obviously a very, very short match. I think it was 18 seconds, is that right?
Yep, you are correct.
Yep. I can remember thinking, well, going into it, obviously being in the UK, we have to stay up till midnight before it starts. Is it midnight or 1 o'clock?
Yeah, we didn't actually watch. I think there was a pre-show then. There was just a dark match, so there was no pre-show, I do believe. That's why we've not covered Primo and Evico against Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel against the Usos. I'm pretty sure back then that was just a dark match. They didn't show that before.
Yeah, so and I can remember thinking it's going to be a very long night ahead. But then the first match, but on 18 seconds, I thought, oh, maybe this isn't going to be such a long night.
Yeah, your exact words were, I hope every match is like this, I remember.
Yeah, I do think they were actually.
So, Sheamus was having his match against Daniel Bryan after Sheamus had won the Royal Rumble. I'm not actually a fan of the World Championship opening pay-per-view. What do you think?
Yeah, when we started talking about this, when we said we would do a podcast, and I couldn't believe that I'd forgotten that Sheamus had won the Royal Rumble, and this is the match that was opening it. Like, obviously, you always think of Royal Rumble as like a big card, you get a good opportunity, and obviously this wasn't a great opportunity for anybody. It was just not great.
No, it wasn't great. Well, saying it wasn't great, but this match really did make Daniel Bryan into a star. So he walked in as the World Championship with his girlfriend AJ Lee, obviously only for storyline purposes. So you could just see him walking down to the ring, and there was all these fans with yes signs. That was at the start of the yes movement, in my opinion.
I know that they often say, other people, that the shortness of this match and just how much they got ripped off sort of did like put the movement into gear to say like, come on, you're ripping these guys off, especially Daniel Bryan. He's got so much talent, and you're wasting him. And I think that you're right in that respect. It's a shame that bad things have to happen for good things to come out of it, sort of thing.
Normally is the case, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Drew McIntyre. He got released and went to do bigger and better things, and then came back, and now he's world champion.
Yep, that's true.
So I did actually think Sheamus coming to the ring at this pay-per-view. I don't know if it had been in Miami, but Sheamus looked so white at this pay-per-view. Yeah, he just looks like people say like Paige's
pasty,
but he looks like it's out of Twilight. Is that white?
Glowing, isn't he?
Yeah. So the bell rings, and Daniel Bryan would like a kiss from his girlfriend. So AJ gets up on the apron and kisses him. He turns around into a big boot, and there is your winner after 18 seconds. Sheamus wins the World Championship. So like I said, this loss did make Daniel Bryan to a star, but it's kind of a bit like
bittersweet.
It's kind of like they just gave up on the match, really. Because if you look at the WrestleMania poster or the DVD, on the front cover it is The Rock and John Cena and The Undertaker and Triple H. Both matches were non-title matches, yet they were the cover of, the poster men, and it was no title. So I think this does degrade the championship a little bit. I know it did happen the year before as well, Edge against Alberto Del Rio, but at least they got time to try and put on a decent match. I know Daniel Bryan and Sheamus fought at Extreme Rules a month later in a submissions match, I believe, and they got the time to put on a better match than this. But they did the best with what they had, and as obviously it's not an 18-second match isn't going to be a 5-star match, but I think if you just rate it on a segment, it was a really good segment in that sense.
Definitely a shock.
Yeah, a shock to start off WrestleMania. So yeah, that was Daniel Bryan against Sheamus for the World Championship. 18 seconds, and you had a new World Champion in Sheamus. So next up, there was a backstage segment involving Team Johnny. So the storyline going to this was Team Johnny against Team Teddy Long. The winner would be both general manager of Raw and SmackDown. So on Team Johnny, there was Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, David Otunga, and Dolph Ziggler. Also, Vicky Guerrero was part of the team as she was managing Ziggler at the time, I believe, and Brie Bella was managing Teddy Long because her and Nikki couldn't decide which one, so one chose one team, I think, and yeah, that was that really. So the Miz is trying to pump up everyone, saying, he's awesome and he motivated last year's WrestleMania pretty much, and this year they're gonna win. And then Johnny comes in and says that their win at WrestleMania will be just as big as Hulk Hogan defeating Andre the Giant and as big as Bret Hart beating Stone Cold at WrestleMania. So yeah, he has big hopes for his team.
I think we've got big hopes for the match.
Yeah. And yeah, that was pretty much it really for that segment. So yeah, the next match on the card was Kane and Randy Orton. So Kane had recently just put the mask back on in kind of a gimmick refreshment. He'd attacked John Cena and was trying to get John Cena to embrace the hate with his upcoming match with The Rock.
I know going into this match I was rooting for Randy Orton.
Well, that's because he's a pretty boy, that's why.
Yeah, I know. Not wrong with that.
It was an alright match, it was a bit average. So Kane gets the win with a chokeslam from the top rope. It was a bit of a bad spot for Randy Orton to be in the WrestleMania, really. The year before, he'd fought CM Punk. His faced The Undertaker at WrestleManias, The Rock and Mick Foley. Been in world title matches at WrestleMania. So this, unfortunately for Randy Orton, was probably a bit of a bad spot for him on the card. But then for Kane, it was probably, a better spot for Kane, especially in picking up the win. I think they were trying to put over the character as Kane being more of a monster again.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember being a bit more of a slower paced match, which, as I've said in the first podcast, that I preferred the sort of faster pace. But there was a few good spots that, was it a DDT on the ropes? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what Randy Orton did.
Yeah. So there was one of them, and Randy Orton goes for an RKO, and Kane counters and oh yeah, that's right. Randy Orton goes to give an RKO, and Kane counters, and then Kane gets to the top ropes and goes to jump off onto Randy Orton, and Randy Orton just drop kicks him straight in midair in the chest. That was a really good spot. Probably the highlight of the match for me, really. But yeah, not a bad match, not a good match. Sort of, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say it's average match. It's one of them matches. Like if I didn't go back and watch this, the only thing that I'd remember would be the finish, the chokeslam off the middle row.
For some reason, I remember something about Randy Orton would do a running knee. What was that about?
Randy Orton used to kick people on the head. It used to be called the puns.
Yeah, I think he was. I remember doing that. That was like storyline.
That was when Randy Orton was at his heelish. He punted Vince McMahon in the head before this was leading to WrestleMania 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
They played on that storyline a little bit then, didn't they? Yeah.
To Shane McMahon, and I don't think he did to Stephanie, but he DDT'd her in the ropes and then gave her a kiss. That was when Randy Orton was at his most heelish, I would say. But back on track to WrestleMania. So that was Kane beating Randy Orton in just under 11 minutes. And next we had a backstage segment promoting the Deadliest Catch.
Waste of time. When
you have a card that, when Daniel Bryan gets 18 seconds and you've got this, why? Like, what? They could have got rid of the Johnny segment. They could have got rid of this segment. They could have just,
Yeah, it just seemed, this segment got at least, 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
Probably.
And how can they get this much time and they get 18 seconds?
So basically, it's just promoting the Deadliest Catch. It is full of bad jokes. Santino, the captain of Team SmackDown, is sat next to the fella off Deadliest Catch.
Captain Keith,
Captain Keith, yeah, and Mick Foley's at the other side. So there's 3 sat in a row, just telling bad jokes, really, and then the Cobra starts eating the crab claws, and then Mr. Stocko does. Luckily, at the end of this segment, Ron Simmons comes in and saves it by saying just one word. And it is not shit, because that's what this segment was, but it was damn. So, unfortunately, yeah, so I do apologise for swearing. If there's any kids listening, maybe we'll have to edit that out. So, next up, it was Cody Rhodes versus The Big Show for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this was a match that I was really looking forward to. I was a big Cody Rhodes fan back then. I loved his entrance music. The year before this, at WrestleMania 27, in my opinion, his match with Rey Mysterio was the best on the card that year. So the story leading into this was that the Big Show couldn't win the big one at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes was going through all the mistakes that the Big Show had done at WrestleMania. He'd never really had that WrestleMania moment. So obviously he lost the main event at WrestleMania 16. At WrestleMania 17, he had a hardcore match, but the way Cody portrayed it on TV made it look a bit cartoonish. Like added in funny, sounds effects and things. WrestleMania 18, he wasn't even on the card. He was at the WWE New York restaurant thing that they used to have. So yeah, the Big Show was there with a load of kids. So yeah, and then WrestleMania 19, Big Show was in a handicap match against The Undertaker, which wasn't anything special. WrestleMania 20, the Big Show was in a match with John Cena where he lost his United States Championship. WrestleMania 21, the Big Show had a sumo match even, and he was in a diaper facing Akio Bono. WrestleMania 22, actually, he did win his match, so we won't go into detail about that because it kind of takes away the point of the story, as the WWE did fail to mention in their promo packages leading up to this. And then, obviously, WrestleMania 24, he lost to Floyd Money Mayweather. WrestleMania 25.
I did not realise that he had been buried so much.
Yeah. And WrestleMania 25, he had lost a World Championship match to Edge and The Big Show. It was, The Big Show lost to John Cena in a triple threat match. It was Big Show and Edge. John Cena had picked both Edge and The Big Show up on his shoulders at one point in that match. So yeah, that's just a rundown of obviously not the best WrestleMania moments for The Big Show. So Cody was just saying that The Big Show couldn't win the big one So was WrestleMania 28 the time for Big Show to win?
Apparently so.
Apparently so. So the Big Show wins with a knockout punch at the end of the match.
I think Cody does put on that storyline of trying to humiliate him. You see him attacking Big Show's left knee a lot in the match and sort of trying to pull him apart in a way. But obviously, Big Show does get the big finish and takes the match.
So with Big Show winning this, I believe he'd held every championship in WWE at that time. It was the only belt he had not won. So yeah, that was the Big Show winning the Intercontinental Championship from Cody Rhodes in just over 5 minutes. Like I say, I was really looking forward to this match, but I don't actually think there's that many talking points about the match, unfortunately. Next up on the show, it was Kelly and Maria Menounos, I think that's how you say her name, against Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres. Now, I can't even remember the story going into this match. I don't even remember ever. I think this was the first time I even seen Maria Menounos. I think at the time I probably didn't know who she was. I don't understand why you'd have your Divas Championship in a match like this, and then worst of all, she took the pinfall in the match.
Yeah, I've actually got that. Maria gets a roll-up pin on Beth. Really?
Yeah. So I don't understand. You've got Eve Torres there. She's got a spot later on in the show. Why would you have probably at that time that Beth Phoenix was the best women's not champion, but she was the best women's wrestler in the company at that time, and they kind of just had Maria bury her in a way.
Yeah, it did not show Beth off to be the strongest sort of champion to be pinned by somebody that's not even a wrestler.
Actually, my favourite spot in this match was Kelly does a molly go around off the top rope onto I think it was onto Beth Phoenix. So if you don't know, that was Molly Holly's finishing move. That's why it's called the molly go around. I'm not sure if that's what they call it then, but so yeah. So personally, I think Eve should have taken the fall to protect Beth Phoenix over especially someone that's not even a wrestler.
Yeah, definitely. I just think, obviously, I watched this match again for the podcast just to refresh my memory. And it's just, I can't believe how the women were portrayed and utilised in the company compared to what they are at this time. Obviously I did know in a way that with the women's revolution and everything, but just to go back and watch it and just think, God, I can't believe that was their match and that was what was happening at the time. It's just...
The annoying thing is that they did actually have some decent women wrestlers. They just didn't use them properly. Like Beth Phoenix had been maybe a few years earlier or even a few years later, I'm sure her title reigns would have meant more. Around this time period, I believe Maurice was a good heel as well, and Michelle McCool were really good. So I think around this time, those three were maybe the more standout-ish women wrestlers. I believe Melina was maybe still there as well. But I think once Trish and Lita left, they kind of lost focus on the women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I think this match definitely does show that. You can just kind of see that by going through past WrestleMania matches, because obviously at WrestleMania 20 there was 2 women's matches. WrestleMania 21 there was Trish against Christy Hemming. WrestleMania 22 at that time probably was the best women's match at WrestleMania in my opinion, between Trish and Mickie James. And then from there on, WrestleMania 23 it was Ashley against Melina in a lumberjack match. I think it went maybe 3 minutes or something. What was the point really? And then they kind of focused more on Playboy girls, and I mean I know they did do that in the year before previously with Tori and Candice, but they kind of embraced more the modelling and the sexuality of the women even more than
all the hard work that Trish and Lita had done, sort of been kind of backtracked a lot, really.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say like a lot of stuff in the Attitude Era was a bit degrading, but the women still went out there and put on a really good match, and they really did try the hardest. Whereas maybe the women at this time could have done that, but they weren't given the time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like badmouth anyone, really, but
I'm sure there's lots of factors as to why this happened. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but it's, I guess it is what it is, and luckily women overcame it, and now they've got more opportunities, which is absolutely fantastic. So,
and I've always enjoyed women's wrestling as well. Like, it's not, I know some, particularly men, either skip through the women's match or go to the toilet during a women's match. Where when I was a child, if Trish or Lita or Tori Wilson was on the telly, I always wanted to watch. Same with like Victoria or Christy Hemming in China. You know, like I didn't like. They were the bits I got most excited for because there weren't bits that really got utilised in the right way. So I was always looking forward to ways of them, you know, trying to make them better. But that's maybe like, I know we're going off a little bit topic here, but like Becky Lynch, like was my favourite women's wrestler for a long time, and they kept on misusing her. But like I'm sure like other people like me, they got behind her and chanting for every time they were at wrestling, and you know, with social media and things, and now look where Becky Lynch is.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think obviously social media was something that helped the women move forward as well, because it gave the fans more of a voice, whereas before they didn't have that. So,
and a lot of people also, this will be the last thing I say on this topic, badmouth the Bella Twins. Now I know their recent, when they came back for Women's Evolution, that, well, especially Brie Bella, it wasn't great, but I think the Bella Twins, especially Nikki, I think Nikki puts in a lot of hard work. You see her, you know, working out all the time on Total Bellas and Total Divas on Instagram and everything. I think at the beginning of the Bella Twins, Brie was more of the better wrestler, but I think Nikki overtook her and, you know, became the better women's wrestler. I think their presence helped the women get more TV time as well. So, yeah, some people don't like the Bella Twins, but I think they have a big part in the women's revolution, and if that's what you call it these days, I don't know. But yeah, I do believe the Bella Twins did have a big part in it, no matter what anyone else says. That is just my opinion. You got anything else to say about this? Or?
No, I feel like we've covered a lot of it. I think.
So we probably spent more time talking about the crappiest match on the card. So there wasn't a lot of talking points in the Cody Rhodes match, which I was really looking forward to watching. But yeah, we spent all this time about the tag team match that buried Beth Phoenix. So next up, it was a backstage segment. Again, it was Matt Striker interviewing Shawn Michaels. Now, Shawn Michaels is saying that he has the power of ending the streak in his hands, and that this match will be an end of an era between Triple H and The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, he was playing on his using his
authority.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Using his authority, you know, because Undertaker took his career away. He now has that power to do that to Undertaker. Which obviously, thinking about the streak, I bet lots of people were like, "Ooh, is this what is going to happen? Is it going to be dirty?"
Is it going to be dirty?
Yeah, like I mean, like,
my wife needs to get her mind out of the gutter.
I mean, like a dirt. What do I mean? What's the word I'm thinking of then?
Screwed up finish, maybe?
Yeah, where Undertaker gets that played over.
Okay. So before we get on to the end of an era Hell in a Cell match, I would just like to say, if you haven't already, please like this video. Please drop us a comment, let us know what you think of the podcast, ways we can improve it. And also please subscribe to the channel. It does really help us out. The more subscribers, the better content we can give out to you. So yeah, the next match is the end of an era Hell in a Cell match. Special guest referee, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. So yeah, Triple H versus The Undertaker, probably the match of the night, or definitely in the conversation of being match of the night. Jim Ross came down to be the special announcer for this match. Also, is there any ring announcer that can say Undertaker better than Justin Roberts? Because if there is, I don't know. He goes, The Undertaker!
Yeah, I should agree. You're right there. Fair enough.
Yeah, like, why WWE let him go? Or, I don't know. He has got a book out, which I really want to read, actually, which I haven't yet. So, yes, darling, that could be on the Christmas list.
Yeah, I think you're dropping a hint there.
Maybe.
Brilliant. Yeah, this match, well, to be honest, and this is something I shouldn't say, but I am yet to stay awake for an Undertaker entrance in WrestleMania yet. Every single time Undertaker comes down, I don't know what it is. It must be his music.
I think it's the longness of his entrance, maybe, especially at WrestleMania.
I think usually about this time it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we stay up this year. So this first year we stayed up, we were at my sister's house. We watched it with my brother-in-law and nephew, I believe.
Yeah, and yeah, so I fell asleep during the Undertaker's entrance. I'm actually not 100% sure when I woke back up again during this match. And I think watching this match back was the first time I watched the whole match through.
Probably.
Since
I think maybe you didn't wake up till the end of Punk and Jericho match when we were watching it live. I think
potentially, yeah. I do remember being awake for
yeah, I remember watching Cena Rock together because my brother-in-law ended up going to bed. I think after, or maybe it was before Team Teddy and Team Johnny. I think he maybe went to bed then. But anyway, we're going off topic.
Yeah, back on topic again.
So yeah, this match, like I said, probably the match of the night. There's a lot of stiff chair shots.
Yeah, lots.
I think I prefer the Undertaker with the Mohican, like not the long hair. I think I prefer that. I think it makes him look a bit more badass. So the Undertaker had returned on an episode of Raw, and he had long hair, even though he had shaved his head. Apparently, they made him wear a wig.
Really?
Yeah. So he wore a wig on the episode of Raw, and he had his hat on, so you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
And the story was that he'd been shaving his head because he was, he's shaving his head every day until he would face Triple H. I think it was something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not sure how that works. You shave your head every day. So you shave it once, it's done.
It goes back.
Oh right, I suppose. Yeah. Okay.
If I shaved my head, do you not think it would grow back?
Well, I know that you grow back, but like you're not going to shave it every single day, are you?
No, you know what I mean.
Right. Okay.
It's their bad storytelling.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stiff chair shots. Triple H obviously using his weapon of choice, the sledgehammer. Can't say I'm a massive fan of Triple H using the sledgehammer. I get that every wrestler has kind of their own gimmick weapon, like Sting has his baseball bat, Triple H has his sledgehammer. But I know you could say, well, if someone's punched someone in the face 5 times, they'd be busted open. But, a sledgehammer, if you hit someone in the head with a sledgehammer in real life, you're going to kill them, aren't you?
Yeah, he never uses it real properly, does he?
Well, good.
Oh, I know that, but it's just annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you can get a bat and you can whack somebody on the back with the bat and
yeah, I think if we didn't do headshots with the sledgehammer, I think I'd be more okay with it because, realistically, you could just say, oh, he's cracked the Undertaker's rib or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So Shawn Michaels was getting involved a bit. So the story going through this match was Triple H was taking it too much to the Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels wanted to call the match off, but the Undertaker wouldn't let him. In the end, Triple H chucked Shawn Michaels out of the ring. At one point, the Undertaker puts Shawn in the Hell's Gate, which I think Shawn did a bit overselling. Maybe I didn't really like how he was like jumping about in the Hell's Gate. It reminded me a bit of, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but Shawn Michaels versus the Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan gives him the big boot, and Shawn just jumps all around the ring. I kind of got like flashbacks of that, really. So yeah, when Shawn Michaels is down, Charles Robinson runs in to be the referee. Undertaker hits a chokeslam on Triple H, I believe, and then he goes for the pin, but it's only a 2. So then the Undertaker chokeslams Charles Robinson in a devastating chokeslam, in my opinion. And then later on, Shawn Michaels gets up and super kicks the Undertaker. He goes into a pedigree, but it was still only the 2 count. And then a few tombstones later, and your winner was the Undertaker. The end of an era.
Yeah. The one big thing that I always take from this match, and I said they always use in like promos and that, is that image of Shawn Michaels at the corner, like tears raining down his eyes.
Yeah.
That emotion. So that Shawn Michaels told a really good story.
Yeah. So the end of the match, Shawn and the Undertaker help Triple H up, and they walk out of WrestleMania together. Now I do remember actually when Jim Ross came down to call his match. I think everyone was thinking this might be Taker's last match. Bringing Jim Ross to call the last match, but will we ever see a last Undertaker match? I don't know. Personally, I think if he was to have one more match, I'd like him to face someone maybe like Aleister Black, put him over, and then Aleister come back can be like the new dark wrestler of wrestling, or maybe the Fiend. But I think Aleister Black needs it more than the Fiend, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think Aleister's very underutilized at the moment.
Yeah. So next up, it's looking through the Hall of Fame class of 2012. Inducted this year in the year of 2012 was Ron Simmons. He was the first ever black WCW champion. Most known for his tag team partnership with Bradshaw in the APA and his catchphrase "Damn," which we saw earlier in the show. There was also Mil Mascaris, I think he's called, the uncle of Alberto Del Rio. Don't know a lot about him, really. The Four Horsemen. So actually, at this time, Ric Flair was under contract to TNA Wrestling, but they did a little exchange. So they allowed Ric Flair to appear for the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania, and they got Christian to do a segment on TNA. I really like Christian, but I think they could have maybe got more out of WWE. But I think that was more Dixie Carter wanting someone she liked to go back to the company to do something. It's like if you could have picked someone, why didn't you pick someone like a Randy Orton or someone, having be like a guest timekeeper or reinforcer or something. But that's just me personally. So Mike Tyson got inducted into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. He said that he would like to become a wrestler, but he just got arrested a lot. His speech went on so long that Triple H and Shawn Michaels had to take him off the stage. Mike Tyson now obviously part of AEW, doing a few bits there. It's good to see that he's still alive and healthy and
supporting the wrestling industry.
Yeah. It's just a shame he's still got an awful tattoo, but he's slimmed down a lot actually. I think, like seeing him on AEW when he's in the Hangover film, I feel like he's a bit bulkier. Yeah, whereas I think now he looks better. He can't rip a t-shirt. If you guys watch AEW and you saw the segment between him and Chris Jericho, he couldn't rip his t-shirt off. But
we'll move on, shall we?
Yeah, we'll move on from that. Yokozuna got inducted by Rikishi, I believe. And the main inductee of this year's Hall of Fame was Edge, getting inducted by Christian. So Edge had retired the year previous. And
so handsome when watching it back with his short hair.
I think.
Yeah.
I prefer, he shaved his beard a bit now, and I preferred him when he first came back at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, when he came back at the Royal Rumble, it was super fit. He was so ripped. It was unreal.
Yeah. And I like
getting better with age.
Yeah, but I think he shaved his beard because he got a bit of grey in it. But I think it looked pretty cool. But then he shaved it off.
Silver fox. Maybe,
yeah. So that was the rundown of the Hall of Fame inductions. Just doing a quick recap. It was Ron Simmons, Mil McGranis, the Four Horsemen, Mike Tyson, Yokozuna, and Edge. Next up, there was a backstage segment. It was Josh Matthews interviewing Flo Rida, but Heath Slater crashes the interview before Flo Rida gets there.
Yeah, and he's going on about his one-man band, isn't he, and how he can help out.
Yep, and then Flo Rida Flo Rida turns up and he says that they could do a duet, or he could be his DJ or be his backup dancer. And Flo Rida says, or you could hold my microphone, I think he says.
Yeah.
And then Heath Slater tries to act hard, we'll say, and Flo Rida just pushes him against the wall and knocks him out. And then Tyler X and Kurt Hawkins come in and just basically laugh at him. So yeah, that was the end of that segment. So next up, it was Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. So on Team Teddy, there was Booker T, The Great Khali, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, and the captain of the team, Santino Marella. Also, there was Teddy Long's girlfriend at the time, Asuka, and Nikki Bella coming to the ring also. And obviously on Team Johnny, we saw previously in the night, which go for him again, Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler, David Otunga, Drew McIntyre, Jack Swagger, and The Miz. And they had Vicky Guerrero and Brie Bella at ringside with them also. So Johnny Laurinaitis, should we say, was the heel. Teddy Long was the babyface. It was the winner of the team would take control over both Raw and SmackDown. So we've seen John Laurinaitis on Total Bellas, and he's actually he seems like a real nice guy in real life, but he does play a great heel on the telly.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
No, go on.
I'll interrupt you. So I don't remember a lot about this match. I actually forgot this match was on the card. Unfortunately, I just completely forgot that this was even a storyline that was going on at the time and a match that was there.
To be honest, I've forgotten Santino Marella was United States champion at this time as well.
It's terrible, isn't it? So, yeah, bit of a... What's this?
It was a match to get everyone on the card, pretty much.
Yeah.
Not a great fan of the Great Khali. He's just very slow. He seems to not really understand what's going on, really. I've seen him in a match before as well. I think it was against Titus O'Neil, and he counted. You could hear him count the 1, 2, 3 when he got pinned.
Oh,
so
it's a shame for Titus O'Neil because he's such a great,
yeah.
Great. I think he's a great talent.
He's a great human, I'd say. Like, you see some of the things Titus O'Neil does, as a motivational speaker and stuff like that. I think he's really good. I think Titus O'Neil himself, I don't think he's got the finesse, maybe, for a wrestler. Like, his movements, I don't think are quite right for a wrestler. For me, personally, we're actually talking about someone that wasn't even WWE at this time, I don't think. But
we're very good at getting off topic. Let's get back on topic.
No, but seriously though, I think Titus O'Neil is a good guy, but for me personally, I just don't think he's got the right. Yeah, just the right. I think he's missing something basically. I just don't.
Hasn't got it.
Maybe, yeah.
Whatever it is, he hasn't got it.
Yeah, and considering he's a good speaker for promotions and things, I don't think he's a good promo.
Okay.
I think he's a bit of deer in the headlights when it comes to promos in a way. But like I said, we've got off topic again, talking about Titus O'Neil. But I suppose, since we're talking about Titus O'Neil, he did his Titus World Slide at the Greatest Royal Rumble, went under the ring. One of the funniest moments in wrestling, probably. Also, I remember him getting a Cesaro swing, and he never recovered back in the match. He was just jelly-legged all over the place. So, yeah, just a few
of your highlights of Titus O'Neil.
Yeah. And let's not forget he once kissed his son on the lips as well. We'll just put that one out there.
Wow. Okay, back on topic to the match, shall we?
So if anyone would like to listen to a podcast of the best of Titus O'Neil, let us know in the comments. It's something that we would do.
Apparently so.
So yeah, back to the match. Kofi and R-Truth do a dive over the top rope, taking out most of Team Raw. Then Vicky squabbles with Asuka on the outside, and she sounds like a pig.
Bella Twins split them up, don't they?
Yeah, Bella Twins split them up. Santino just move off the top rope.
Gets his Cobra out, doesn't he?
Yeah, gets his Cobra out. And then in the ring, there's Zack Ryder and Eve. Eve was out there as well, I forgot to say. doing the woo. He tries to help her out of the ring where the Miz runs in and hits the skull crushing finale for the win. So Team Johnny win, and then Eve gets back in the ring and turns on Zack Ryder with a crushing kick to the nether regions, shall we say? Balls, maybe. So yeah, not a great match, really.
I'd say a forgettable match.
Yeah,
to be honest.
pretty much forgettable. It's a shame that when you've got such good people in there, that's where their spot was on the card, really. But then also when you think about it, you've got someone like the Great Khali in there that got a longer match than Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. I think originally Christian and Alberto Del Rio were meant to be on Team Johnny, but they got injured before the match. Or before WrestleMania, should we say. So obviously they got taken out of the spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. I feel like we had a better conversation about Titus O'Neil, to be fair, than this match, but
it says more about the match though, doesn't it? Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, I suppose so. But there was some great talents in that match. Though, to be fair, there was only maybe the Great Khali that doesn't really belong there, really. David Otunga, someone that's maybe could have done a bit more in wrestling than he did. I think now he's like an analyst on the pre-show panel or something like that.
Yeah.
Especially in this WrestleMania match, he has a really good physique, shall we say. He's pretty ripped and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So next up, it was a backstage segment. You saw Team Johnny celebrating backstage and CM Punk warming up for his match. Team Johnny basically just says to him, if you get...
you lose your temper.
Yeah, if you lose your temper and get disqualified, you will lose your WWE Championship in the match.
Does not help CM Punk's temper, turns out.
No, a lot of heavy breathing. So the next match up on the card was CM Punk defending his WWE Championship against Chris Jericho. So the story going in was that Chris Jericho was going to save the world. The world was going to end because CM Punk was the champion, pretty much. And Jericho was saying the background of CM Punk's that his father was a drunk and his sister was into drugs.
He was a bastard as well.
Yeah, that CM Punk was a bastard.
By definition.
By definition, not just as a person. So if there's anyone that says that Chris Jericho is not one of the greatest of all times, they're definitely wrong, because he has some excellent work in this. If you watch the package leading into it, and obviously in the match as well. So entrance-wise, Jericho comes to the ring with his lighting-up jacket. Now he walks a bit strange to the ring. That's because half of his jacket wasn't lighting up. Half of his jacket wasn't working, so he walks to the ring right shoulder forward kind.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So I think the story was that Christian was playing with his jacket backstage, and he ended up breaking it, and only half of it would work. So yeah, Jericho doesn't walk to the ring like he would normally would. He walks more of an angle. I think that is the story, anyway. So yeah, this probably was the second best match got on the card, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think you were saying obviously Chris Jericho, amazing wrestler. Completely agree. But I think both CM Punk and Chris Jericho going into this match. I mean, two amazing talents.
Yeah,
definitely.
Both. Sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
No, both wrestlers have the total package. They're both are good at everything.
Yeah, I mean they can tell the story. They can wrestle. They have the charisma. The chemistry was there, and I don't think that disappointed when it came to the match. The build-up, as you said, was really good, and I feel like it paid off in the match anyway. Yeah. So obviously, John Laurinaitis has just said that if he gets disqualified, he will lose the title. So Jericho was trying to get Punk disqualified, trying to antagonize him. That is the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. Just like Jericho's facial work in this match, like when he was saying to Punk, "How is your father? How is your sister?" were really good.
Obviously, I believe at one point he was trying to get Jericho to hit him over the head with a steel chair. Yeah, some good like in ring work as well as like telling a story, by actions. Punk goes for a Hurricane Rana off the top rope, and Jericho reverses it into Walls of Jericho. Really like that. They do a suplex to the outside from the apron, suplex to the floor. It's really good also.
Chris Jericho's holding CM Punk's arms from behind, and somehow CM Punk managed to do some sort of back kick to his chest.
Yeah, like a backdrop backwards.
Yeah, it was that. Don't even know how he managed that. I really enjoyed that.
So the end of the match was pretty much Punk locking on the Anaconda device, and Jericho kept on reversing it into a pin. This happened a few times. Then he managed to get out of it, but Punk gets him back in it, and that is Jericho tapping out. So still WWE Champion CM Punk. So next up, it was Brodus Clay on the entranceway. He was phoning his mama, and then his mama comes out with a bridge club. Yeah, I really, really didn't like this segment then. Don't like it now. Just don't see the point of it.
Another waste of time.
A waste of time that could have gone to a performer. The only good thing that maybe came out of it was that like Naomi and Cameron got a kind of WrestleMania moment. They got to go out on stage and dance, but didn't really like the Brodus Clay gimmick really anywhere. I just thought you've got someone that size. Surely they can do something better with him than that. But I know you hear all the time Vince likes big men and stuff, but then he doesn't know how to use them all. I mean, look what he did to Brodus Clay. Changed Tensai. Matt Morgan, he didn't know what to do with him. So, yeah. Sometimes, like, do big guys really need a gimmick? I don't think they do. They just go out there and be monsters. Like, look at Brian Cage in AEW. Like, he's a big guy and he just goes out there and kicks crap out of people.
Yeah.
But like same with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's a big guy. He doesn't have a gimmick. He just, he just goes out there and takes it to him. He doesn't need to be a dancer or, have some stupid gimmick like Brodus Clay has. So yeah, I know some people might say, well, they did this to settle the crowd down before Cena versus Rock, which is fair enough. But then next up, Diddy comes out and he introduces the singers that are going to do John Cena's video package. It was MJK, I think they're called. So they do like the John Cena's entrance and that, and then Florida Rider comes out and does the Rocks. So by the time the match actually starts, like a lot has gone on anyway. Like you didn't need this Brodus Clay segment.
I think between the two, from CM Punk, Chris Jericho to Cena and Rockets, must be a good 15 minutes, if not longer.
Like to me, this Brodus Clay segment was the worst thing on the entire show. Like I would rather watch Ron Simmons come in and say "damn" to a crap backstage segment than this Brodus Clay. So yeah, sorry, I'm pretty sure Brodus Clay will never listen to this, but if you do, sorry, pal. That just didn't do anything
against you.
Yeah, it just didn't do anything for me. So the main event, The Rock versus John Cena. So this is obviously why this is the most best-selling at WrestleMania ever, with pay-per-view buys. I know people that weren't even into wrestling and they were still interested in who was going to win, Rock or Cena. Obviously, this match had been a year in the build. I think being at the time, I've been maybe like 20, 24, 25. 23? 22? I don't know. What year is it? 2020 has just been an awful year. I don't know. Like, it feels like 2020 has been gone on for 4 years anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like kind of the popular thing for a man saying he's mid-20s to support John Cena, but I was probably behind John Cena for this match, as I feel like he needed the win more than The Rock. Cena had been saying for years how he didn't like how The Rock kind of just forgot about the WWE and how Cena was there every single night and he never forgot. So yeah, the Rock came and said he was coming back, but he didn't come back. You know, he was doing satellite appearances and stuff, and calling John Cena Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it had a really good build-up. I'd actually started watching wrestling in the last 6 months leading up to this. Am I right?
4 maybe.
Maybe 4. Anyway, a few months leading up to it. But Cena was my favourite wrestler at the time.
This was only the third pay-per-view you ever seen.
Yes, my first ever wrestling T-shirt was John Cena, the green one that he had.
Yeah, that he wore for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, so I just loved everything that John Cena stood for, not just in the terms of obviously the Rock storyline, but the stuff he does with Make-A-Wish and everything like that. I think is fantastic, and that for me, coming in, wasn't a wrestling fan, a massive fan at the time. I was getting into it, but just seeing what he did and portrayed himself outside the ring, I think made me like him more than anything. So obviously going in, I wanted Cena to win. So yeah.
So the match wasn't like a 5-star classic or anything, but I don't think it was ever set out to be that. Really, it is more of the personas of the wrestlers than the actual in-ring action. One thing I will say is I absolutely hate it when John Cena puts on the STF. It doesn't look like he's put by any pressure. It just looks really crap. I mean, he didn't look too bad in this match as to some of the other matches I've seen, but it's not great. And then when The Rock puts on a sharpshooter or a scorpion deathlock, which is what it's meant to be called, but like his facial expression, he's putting the hold on John Cena, and he looks like he's just stood on like a piece of Lego or something. Like his
piece of Lego.
His face is just. It's like he's telling he's in pain, putting on this move on someone else. So yeah, well, that's just my opinion. But yeah, it was an okay match, but like I said, I don't think it was ever meant to be like a classic match.
No, I think it was more the story and the characters you said, rather than it being something that portrays them as not good wrestlers. Not that they're not good wrestlers or anything. They are, but more using their characters and their talent.
Yeah. They don't need to go out and do, really high spots like Ricochet and some other people maybe.
Yeah, they.
Rock does do like a crossbody onto Cena though, and Cena reverses it into an AA, and there's a few there. Well, like Cena's finishing move should be the FU.
Yeah.
It was the FU to me. I know that it's not really good children calling it an FU, but to me it would always be rated A. I said it wrong. What do I know?
But obviously, coming to the ending of the match, Cena starts to mock The Rock. He goes to do, the people's elbow sort of gimmick that The Rock does.
Yeah, so he got a bit full of himself, a bit cocky, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Just bouncing off the ropes. Rock hits him with a chokeslam for the win.
Chokeslam? Really? Does The Rock do a chokeslam?
It does do a chokeslam, so what is it?
The Rock's bottom.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
No, we can leave this fine.
Oh, brilliant. Hits him with The Rock's bottom. But it looks like a chokehold.
When she makes a mistake, she's like, oh, we can edit this out. No, we can't. So there was your winner, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, sporting his... In this match, he kind of looks more like Luke Hobbs out of Fast and Furious, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So probably that's what he's filming around the time. The year later, when the fight is, he seems a bit leaner and he's clean shaved. Whereas this one is more
rugged and bulk.
Yeah, he's more bulk. Whereas the year after, he's more lean. I'd say.
Just think it's funny going back to how the storyline John Cena was saying The Rock left wrestling and he's now a movie star and blah blah blah.
Oh, now he's doing it himself.
Yeah, just think perspective. Doing this 9 years on, quite funny really that did a big storyline on it and he's just gone and done exactly what The Rock's done.
Yeah, true, but there's nothing left for Cena to do in wrestling.
And I'm not. It's nothing about. If it had done a storyline, I wouldn't be. It's not. I wouldn't be made up.
Yeah,
I just think it's so funny that they did this storyline and then.
But how many years was The Rock on top in wrestling, and how many years on top was John Cena?
It's like 5 to 15 or something.
It's probably something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, John Cena had he was in the world title match at WrestleMania 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. This WrestleMania was the first one since WrestleMania 20 where he wasn't wrestling for the main title. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was in the best spot of the card there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, whereas The Rock, he main evented WrestleMania 15, 16, 17, and then obviously didn't main event another one until this one.
Touche. Keep that mouth shut.
No, I'm just saying. I don't think there's anyone that's given more to WWE than John Cena.
Yeah, he is. He's just.
That's why he should have won this match personally, but obviously he lost because after they wanted to have him beat the.
Do it all again.
Yeah, this was once in a lifetime, and next year it happens again.
What was the tag for the next year? The line.
Was it like Redemption?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it should have been twice in a lifetime, really, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that was it. That was The Rock beating John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 28. So, looking back at the highlights, what would you say was your best moment of the show? And why is it not Brodus Clay?
Highlight of the show, Cena and Rock, I'd say. I was just really excited to see Cena in a main event in Mania for my first year, so being a big fan. So for me, that would be the highlight of the show. What about you?
Going into the pay-per-view, I thought it would have been Punk and Jericho, but actually it was probably the Hell in a Cell match. That was probably, in my opinion, because it's probably I think it was the first WWE match that was kind of like of its kind in one sense. You know, there's a lot of false finishes and stuff like that, which didn't really do a lot of before. Whereas now probably maybe do too much.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps if I hadn't fallen asleep, that could have been my.
Or maybe it could have been, yeah. Obviously, low points would probably be the Brodus Clay and the Deadliest Catch segments on the show, probably.
Sorry.
No, you've gone, my sweetheart.
One of my low points, not low points, but reflecting back on it, and something we actually haven't discussed, was a Divas promo they did. There was a video package of just being a diva, and the diva saying, "Oh, how great it is to be a diva," but they talked about the good things about being a diva. Was things like being able to do modelling and doing movie things and traveling the world. It's not actually like we're actually kicking some ass and
being a woman wrestler.
Being a woman's wrestler, being a diva is all that other stuff, and it just just not that. It's not really what divas should be. They should be wrestlers. But that one low point, and then I'd say another low point for me. Well, low point, but my least favourite match would be the Kane and the Randy Orton. I would say. Yeah.
I really still like this WrestleMania. I'd say it's probably in my top 5 manias, maybe. Just putting that out there, maybe. My favourite might be WrestleMania 20 with Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle fighting for the WWE Championship and Chris Benoit against Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the main event. Obviously, at that time, I was a big John Cena fan. He beat the Big Show for the United States Championship in the opening match. WrestleMania 20, I just think every match on the card was good. Every match got a little bit of time. There was no kind of like sleeper match. Like in later WrestleManias, there's been like a really quick match.
Yeah.
So like I said previously, on WrestleMania 23 it was the women's match, 24 it was Chavo and Kane, 25 was Rey and JBL, 26 I think that was the opening match, the tag team opening match. So yeah, and then obviously here we had the Daniel Bryan match, but at least this match, something good came out of it.
Yeah, it definitely sparked the movement, didn't it? Which is good.
So yeah, this probably was in my top 5 WrestleManias. So, do you got anything else to add for the show?
I think I am done.
Brilliant. Well, if you enjoyed listening to us today, please give this a like, leave a comment, let us know if there is anything you would like us to talk about on the podcast. It doesn't have to be WWE pay-per-views, it can be WCW, ECW, AEW, TNA, or if there's something on the network that you'd like us.
More than happy to make me watch anything.
You enjoy we watched the 365 day of Seth Rollins the other day, and she enjoyed it more than I did.
I did actually. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, so if you liked the video, please give it a like, drop us a comment, let us know what you want us to review, and please subscribe to the channel. It's the best way of supporting the Man Games. And also, check out the other stuff on the channel, like the Fun with Figures, the Watch Along with Brody Lee. Check out the 2K22 news episode that is on there. We have our Wrestle Crate unboxing, which is now a monthly thing also. So yeah, there's plenty of content on the channel. There is loads of 2K20 stuff. So yeah, if this is your first time listening to the Man and the Wife podcast, check out the other things as well on the channel. So that is all from today. Thank you for listening.
Thanks. Bye.